For those of you that have children in your lives that are turning to chapter books, they love chapter books. They kind of have moved away from picture books, although I say you're never too old for a good picture book. I wanted to show you some of our chapter books for everything from very early beginning to read chapter books all the way up to chapter books for older kids and teens. So this one is the first one I want to show you. It's called Olivia's Secret Scribbles. We also have, this is for ages about 6 to 10. And then we also have Ella Diaries is her sister, and those books are great for about 8 to 12. So I want to show you inside Olivia's Secret Scribbles. It's basically kind of like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but featuring a girl. So Olivia's big book of private secrets, do not open. And so all these wonderful doodles, it's done in diary form. So it's just such a cool peek into her life and her inner thoughts with all those wonderful doodles throughout the book. So that's Olivia's Secret Scribbles. Billy and the Mini Monsters is probably one of my favorite chapter books. It's very like a comic book, graphic novel type book, but it also is a chapter book. So Billy finds these mini monsters one day in his top drawer, and they go on all these adventures together. I really love the really colorful illustrations and how a lot of this is done kind of like a comic book, but it still has the chapter aspect to it. So the illustrations in this are just so great about these friendly little mini monsters that Billy finds and becomes friends with. I adore our Bear Grylls adventures. So we have a bunch of these now. There's a volcano challenge that we just came out with, river challenge. This is Blizzard challenge and the jungle challenge. So basically each of these kids find a magic compass. They're all kind of going through something different in their lives, maybe struggling with cleanliness or struggling with making friends or disliking the outdoors. And they find this magic compass and they're transported to a place, a certain climate, and a place that requires survival. So illustrations throughout this book as well. I read a few of these and I kind of love them because you learn so much about survival in them, but it's also about these kids accomplishing things that they never thought they might be able to do. So great book about overcoming obstacles and learning about the outdoors and learning about survival. So this is the Bear Grylls Adventure series. How to win a Nobel Prize. So this is about a girl named Mary who wonders what it would be like and how to win a Nobel Prize. One day she stumbles upon the secret meeting of past Nobel Prize winners, some dead, some alive, and she gets to interview them. And one in particular takes her under their wing. And so she just gets to meet all of these different Nobel Prize winners, learning about persistence. And the other cool thing about this is there are experiments throughout it. So each chapter kind of ends with a different kind of experiment or something to kind of task or challenge. So this is how to win a Nobel Prize. I love our illustrated originals. These are completely unabridged. They're the original words, but it has these beautiful illustrations in it that help to break up the text. So let me find some of those illustrations for you. So really pretty illustrations. And I love how it kind of breaks up the text and makes it a little bit easier to both use your imagination and see these really whimsical illustrations, but it also helps make it a little easier to digest and to read the words. So this one is Wizard of Oz. We also have the Jungle Book, and we have Black Beauty and a few others. Let me show you some of the Jungle Book illustrations as well. So these are also very pretty. Again, I love how it breaks up that text and helps children to be able to use their imagination. So let me find one more illustration for you. So really pretty illustrations. Great way to help children use their imagination as they're reading these books. I really love this series. It's called The Secret of the Clockwork Sparrow. So the inspiration behind this, the author's inspiration behind this was the Nancy Drew series. So it's about Miss Sophie Taylor and Miss Lillian Rose, who there's a clockwork sparrow that goes missing, and they have to break codes and solve the mystery. So this is, as you can see, a more significant chapter book. A lot of us book ladies really love this one. There's 4 in the series currently, and a lot of us have read them all because they're just really interesting. So great for teens, middle schoolers, and even adults and young adults. So that's the last chapter book I wanted to show you. We have chapter books for all ages, a huge variety of subjects. Whether your child is an avid reader, they love reading, or they dislike reading, we have so many books. If your child does not like reading, we have so many books that have caused children to develop a love of reading. So many success stories that I've heard. So if you have one of those children in particular, let me know and we can find something that will hopefully grab their attention.